So every year, so many people fall off their fitness goals after January. It's unfortunate to see that happen, whether it's they're losing consistency in their frequency at the gym, their intensity sessions, or even just cancel the gym membership altogether. But what we're going to do today is create a beginner's guide to the gym. Me and my good friend Antonio, two qualified PTs, and we're going to give you a 3-part series on how to get the best out of the gym as a beginner for 2025.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be, more than anything, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is things that we wish that we had been told or that we found out when we started our fitness journeys. So our aim here is to save you a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of aches, on how to do things right, take the second guessing out of it, and then you can start your 2025 journey properly and correct and get as many gains as you can out of this entire year.
Amazing. And today for our first part, we're going to go what to do literally on your first day. When you're starting out in that first week, exercise you're going to be doing. We're going to talk about the basics of nutrition, warming up, everything like that. Anything you want to see in the series or more in the future, comment down in the video what you'd like to see and we'll try and cover that for you.
All right, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things that we really need to discuss is your warm-ups. Now, one of the things that has helped me the most is for my lifts, for my longevity during my sessions, warming up correctly. And that means warming up the joints that I'm going to be using for the main movements that I'm going to be using during that session. Okay? Today, Cameron and I are both working on push-pull, so our upper body day. I am currently warming up my shoulder joints. Okay, we'll also be warming up our elbows, our wrists. And the reason why all of this is important is your joints, as they move and warm up, are going to release synovial fluid. Think of it as lubrication. The easier they slide against each other, the easier it's going to be for certain movements, for certain strength movements as well, to move and also to help prevent that injury. Now, understand the fact that we all have different warm-ups. As long as they're pretty much targeting the same things, I think we'll be fine. Cameron, any particular warm-ups for the upper body that you would recommend? Maybe even some specific exercise warm-ups?
Yeah, so for the most part, like most people, they tend to go for aerobic activity, which is completely perfect to do because you need to get your body warmed up, ready for the session, blood flowing, and then you just already get a little bit of endorphin release, so you're ready for your session. So nothing wrong against doing aerobic activity. What I do recommend as well is to do some sort of mobility exercise as well if you want, especially if you have some mobility limitations, which is what most people do if you don't come from a dance background or gymnastic background. So you don't need to spend that long. Says what my weakness is there. So you don't need to spend that long overall for a warm-up, especially if you've got limited time. So in total, I say 5-10 minutes. As long as you're doing activity that gets you warmed up and moving, ready for your session. For some people as well, if you struggle with activating certain muscles, then an activation exercise or two will be really helpful in preparing for your session. So for instance, like because we're doing upper body, we're getting our rotator cuff really firing up. So that way we're going to feel stronger and more protected during our session today. For lower body, this could be doing some glute bridges to activate your glutes to get ready for your squatting, if you're lunging, anything like that.
Touching on a point that Cameron just said, doing exercise-specific warm-ups, if you feel like you're struggling with something, could be a really big help. If you're struggling on engaging your chest when you're doing bench press, for example, doing some scapular push-ups could really help make that difference between pushing with the chest and not driving through the front delts. Okay, if you're doing pull-ups, same thing applies. Or even simply just doing anything like a banded row to activate certain muscle groups could make a real big benefit. These rotator cuff warm-ups I find the most important because some of the biggest injuries in the gym tend to be rotator cuff issues. I'm sure the fact that we'll be talking about form and technique later on in the video. But for now, I think the warm-up that we've shown you here should be plenty enough, at least for the upper body, to get a really, really good warm-up on your first day. Okay, so the conversation tends to flow around prescription of exercises, right? Whether you go heavy, whether you go light, what you're supposed to do. Recommendation would technically be this: focus on at least one compound movement that works a big portion of the body for whatever day you're working, and let the rest be machines, let the rest be accessory work, some free weights, reduce risk of injury, and learn technique. Best thing that you could probably do for your lifting journey for the next 100 years. Technique and form. Once you learn that, everything else will be so much better, less risk of injury, easier to progress if your body's doing it biomechanically the right way.
Yeah, I completely agree with the technique. We'll go into a deeper dive with technique more into the second part. But when it comes to going to machines, of course you don't get the technique straight away perfect. That's why machines is a great way to start off your training journey, because there's going to be that lower risk of injury. Because the setup is a little bit easier, you can move from point A to point B without having that extra element of instability. So a lat pull down machine is definitely a great option to start off if you're hitting lats and upper body in general, because all I'm doing is sitting down and controlling that weight as I come down and back up.
So when I say focus on a compound lift, if you're training legs, you don't need to train more than 3 times a week when you start off, okay? But you're aiming to train everything at least twice a week. What do I mean by that? Doing something like a full body day, a full body push and a full body pull will ensure that you're training every single muscle group at least twice. That's going to give you the best returns on your investment of time versus results. Now, when I talk about compound lifts, I ideally mean squats, bench press, pull-ups are probably your best bet. Deadlifts could have an argument for being in there, although deadlifts do come high risk, high reward. So unless you want to get your deadlifts to be really, really good, you don't need to have them in there if your aim is for building muscle. As you progress and you become more experienced in the gym, you're going to find out what works for you, what doesn't, what exercises you prefer, and you can then narrow your goals in. As long as you're trying to do as much as you can while you're here to start off with in terms of movement, training everything so that you create a very well-rounded, balanced physique, whether it's for strength or it's for a particular sport. Think about it in that sense, and then you can then work on a more niche approach as you develop your skills further.
Nice.
Perfect segue to talk about intensity. So, relatively, as long as you're pushing yourself to failure, whether you're going for 5, 10, 12, 15, 20 reps, you are going to be achieving the results you're after. Okay? Now, when you're starting off, my recommendation would be use the RPE scale. It's what we call the rate of perceived exertion. Very simply put, it's a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I could do this all day. 10 being, I could not do a quarter of a rep more. When you're starting off, aim for about a 7.5 to an 8.5. As you improve and get stronger with your accessory lifts, with your isolations, you can start pushing towards a 9.5 to 10. With your compound lifts, you can do the same. But ask someone to spot you. Compound lifts come with a higher level of risk. So having somebody there will help ease your mind, ease the tension of what happens if you fail it. You have somebody there to help lift off from.
Amazing. You went for neutral grip yet?
Huh?
You went for neutral grip?
Neutral grip and better range of motion.
Yeah.
Deeper circle. So have it a little bit lower on your core. Your aim as you pull back, don't push to the feet. Try to push the pad through this pad.
Okay.
And then squeeze backwards.
Alright, cool.
Hold it as high as you can go so you get an even better stretch. Even higher. So I'll help you lift. Hold it even higher there. And higher, 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 higher. Hold it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold it high. There it is.
Yeah.
Now you get a much better stretch. There it is. One. As you lean back, focus back to two. Beautiful. Bring your head back a little bit as you come back. There it is. When you come back, head back. Four. Much better. Come on. Up for six. Squeeze. And here. Up for seven. There it is. Squeeze that finger. Up for eight. Drive it, drive it, drive it. Two more. Two more. For nine. Up for 10. Scat pulls. 5. 1. 2. Come on. 4. Up. Lower.
Oh my gosh. Like what? Alright. That's actually really good. I'm glad we did that. I hadn't done this variation in a long time. So even though I've been training for 10 years, I could always learn something new. So always throw your ego out the door. Don't be afraid to ask help. All the PTs in the gym, they're all going to be happy to help you fix your exercise form, give you some advice, and you want to take it a step further, then investing in a coach is the perfect way. Like it always is a bit of an expense, but just like any investment, it's going to serve you dividends in the long run.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition. You're gonna have a lot of coaches make you believe that as you start off, you need to be very, very strict with your macros, with your calories. Not necessary. I want you to simply write down and track whatever you're currently eating. As you do that, you're gonna be a lot more aware of the proteins, fats, carbs, and calories that you're currently consuming. As we start training and aiming for a bit of a different focus, getting more involved into the gym, more involved with the nutrition, what you're slowly gonna do is you're gonna make slight changes to the food you already eat. So, if you're having, let's say, spaghetti bolognese is one of your favorites. Instead of using standard mince, use 5% fat mince. If you're using white pasta, white rice, change that for whole wheat, wholemeal. You'll feel fuller for longer, have more energy for longer, less snackish. Drink 3-4 liters of water a day minimum. No more than a liter an hour. By the way, you do not want to oversaturate the cells. And so you can start making small changes, not having to skimp out on good tasting food, not having to compromise on taste or on the thing that you enjoy. Just look for the slightly healthier option. And remember that however much food fills up your plate is the amount of space that it's going to take up in your stomach. If it's a small portion with lots of calories, you're probably going to get hungry, even though the calories are quite high. If you have a plate filled with baby potatoes, brown rice, chicken, lots of veg, that's a space that'll fill in your stomach. It'll be fuller for longer, you'll be able to reduce. Of course, if you're bulking, up the amount of protein, up the amount of carbs, try to keep the fats relatively low to ensure the fact that you're not gaining it, but make it sustainable. You're not here to be the next Mr. Olympia, you're here to become healthy. And that means having a balance between everything. A good rule of thumb is 80% of the time, do the right things. 20% of the time, you can enjoy yourself and have a good balance with your food. The dumbbells are so cold.
What Antonio just said at the end was spot on, flawless. very gold advice. It's about making micro changes into your lifestyle, whether it's every week or until you're very consistent with building a successful habit. Like when I started, the first thing I did was just remove soft drinks. That was very much an easy thing to do. Maybe I'll have one on the weekends, and then very slowly, like I just no longer craved having any sugar from those soft drinks. Very easy, simple change I can do. If it's for you, if it's just having a protein source after you've exercised, that could be the first big change that you make in terms of your nutrition. You need to keep it simple, but also enjoy the process. There's no point suddenly switching to a full salad if you don't like salad in the first place. You're gonna try to incorporate small things that you can still like find tolerable, but you can enjoy with the rest of your meal. And over time, your body will change, your taste buds will change, your desire and values will change. Then you can start to make those bigger changes over time.
Give the elbow a little bit further into the body to come down. There it is. One pressure. Okay, so look, we've talked about making small changes to your diet to ensure the fact that you're hitting the goal that you need. What do those goals look like? Well, when it comes to protein, if you're in the UK and you're in a decent amount of places in the world, you are looking to measure against kilograms. So, roughly 2.2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. Or, if you're in the States, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay? Whether you are cutting down and trying to maintain size and muscle mass, whether you're trying to be at a standstill maintenance and keep the muscle that you have, or whether you're trying to bulk and gain mass, this is the golden figure. Try not to go below. You can use third-party apps like MyFitnessPal to get everything of this recorded. And where could you get your protein sources? Well, you have your fast-release protein, your protein shakes that you can take straight after the gym. If you're looking to cut down, preferably maybe a diet whey protein or a protein isolate, something that is very high in protein, low in carbs and fats. You can also have your medium-release protein. This comes from all your food, your eggs, your chicken, your beans if you're vegan, your lentils, so many different protein sources, your fish, shrimp. Honestly, I could go on about the amount of sources of protein that there are on the planet. I would also make a little recommendation just before you go to bed, like half an hour before, having casein protein, which is what we call slow release protein, your yogurt, so anything that has to do with milk. You get slowly released protein throughout the night while you're sleeping. Probably your best bet. In terms of carbohydrates, keep your carbohydrates high. You need carbs to function. You need the energy. Do not cut out carbs. That's going to deplete you. You're probably going to get rid of a lot of water weight, and then you're going to pick it back up straight away. Have your carbs. You need your energy, especially when you're lifting and you're training hard. So, what I like to do is I have 2 small bags of sweets, of Haribos, of little gummy bears that are mostly just sugar before training. You can have a jam sandwich. You can have anything that is going to be a carbohydrate, a simple carbohydrate, sugars, just before training, 30 minutes before. Your body will process them very quickly. It'll store as glycogen in the muscle. That's where the muscle is going to have the energy to be able to lift and train throughout your session. And you're going to burn it off quickly anyways. We're not packing on that amount of calories that you can't have it on a cut. I was having 2-3 small packs of sweets before training every session during my 7-month cut, and I still lost 11-12 kilos. Okay? So do not stress about it at all. You need the energy to be able to lift the amount of reps that you're going to be lifting during your session. With your fats, important to have them. You're looking for your healthy fats. You can get them from your oats. You can get them from avocado. You can get them from your fish, your salmon. Important to have those fats. Try to stay away from any processed fats, anything like bacon, anything like that that will end up stored inside of your body, and that's probably what we want to miss out on. Have a healthy amount of fats whilst it being the smallest macro quantity that you have during your meals. right, look. A little bit out of breath. If this all seems a little bit overwhelming in terms of tips, information, obviously everything will be in the description as to the main points that we've discussed. However, the one takeaway that I want you to get from today is consistency and discipline is key. Even if you don't do the rest of the stuff that we've discussed perfectly, or even to a somewhat alright degree, just showing up, being here, creating a habit is going to help you get the results that you want, and bit by bit get more addicted to it, fine-tune things a little bit more, and get better and better. Consistency and discipline is key. That's all you need to worry about.
I'm gonna go for like a sort of in between angle, you know, chest and triceps. I like doing both at the same time very well. I don't know if I'm a big fan of like the wide bar. Like
again, it's only because I'm doing chest. And understandably, that's roughly the same angle that I think you and I both do for bench.
This way. Alright, we're gonna try.
If I was doing triceps, I'd even be facing the other way. So the arms sink in and pull tighter. Try it out. Alright. Just make sure that you're hinging the chest. Come forward. Right. 3, 2, 1. And push and lock out. And yeah, steady now. There you go. Lean forward and check it. Good. Breathe out. Watch everything in. 4, there. 5, good man. 6, way down. 7, go for the stretch, go for the stretch. There it is. 8, 2 more. 9. Last one. Push the 10, drive up. That, my God. And you feel the chest already? The pump is ridiculous. That is what I'm talking about. Hold on.
Yeah, so exactly what Antonio said. It's just going up every single day. When I first started, I didn't have the money to invest in trainers or programs, so I took the time to learn everything myself. I knew nothing how to do a pull-up from day one, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I just did exercise in the beginning that I think will help. Training my biceps, just keep trying to do those pull-ups every day, for example, push-ups. And then eventually when I went to the time, watching videos like you are doing now, that's how I managed to stay consistent in the gym and really appreciate the results over time. If you enjoyed this little series, go ahead and give this video a like. Comment what you want to see more on this series or on this channel, and don't forget to check out Antonio's stuff on Instagram. His value is so powerful.
And remember that we're here to help you out, okay? You have questions, put them in the comments. We'll get to them. We're gonna read everything. We're gonna answer everything. If we feel like a video is required to be able to give the in-depth information that you're looking for, we will create a separate video for it. Zero stress. Anything that you have questions for, training programs, diets, what to do, how to do different variations, ask us. That's exactly what we're there for. Completely agree with Cameron. Look, you're going to be seeing us a little bit more often. Obviously, thank you for having me on your channel, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these.
All right, go ahead and stay tuned for part 2.